Is this thing on? Welcome to Rebooted the Podcast. I'm your host, Alita Hernandez. Come join me weekly to hear about my journey from recovery to healing after having a stroke and other life challenges. So let's get talking.
3, 2.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Alita Hernandez, your host, Rebooted the Podcast. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. Today, I'm calling it LifeChanger. Because my guest is amazing and he does help you change your life. But today, before I start with that, I just want to have today just talking about gratitude. I feel really grateful to be here, to have my show, and just to be alive. It's been challenging the last 5.5 years. I've improved my life, my quality of life, and my health since I had the stroke 5.5 years ago, hence the rebooted. And sorry that we're late today too, because we had to reboot the computer. So there you go. Rebooted everywhere. So many years ago when I had the stroke and I say got my brain rebooted, because it did, it just really kick-started the change of my life and the change of my health and just my attitude about everything and just being positive and just being grateful. I want to say I'm very grateful for my man JC, for everything he's done for me, and he helped me through that time and really struggled when I had the stroke, that I couldn't move. I lost 50% of my left side. It was quite difficult, and he stayed with me every step of the way. He's a really special person in my life. He helps me take care of my mother and my aunt that have memory issues, and I'm very grateful for my mother that she's still around. She's 84 years old. My aunt's 82. I also have JC's aunt that stays with us too, that's 69. I'm grateful to my friend Christine, to my friend Becca, to Evelyn. Oh my God, there's so many people. My sisters. I just wanted to just say thank you, all of you, for being in my life and giving me the support that I need and for loving me unconditionally. And I give that back to you. And of course, I'm thankful for God for my life, because God has saved me so many times I can't even... You will learn over my episodes. You'll find out later a little bit more about me and how he saved my life. But he has done it so many times. When I had the stroke, I was sleeping. It was Saturday night, and I woke up at like 3-4 in the morning. I believe it was around that time. And I woke up from a dream. And in my dream, a doctor walks in and says, "Miss Hernandez, you just had a stroke." That was it. I woke up, opened my eyes, and I go, did I have a stroke? Or did I have a heart attack? Because I couldn't move on my left side. I didn't know what was going on. And since I lost oxygen to my brain, I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. I just know I can't move. My dream is telling me I had a stroke. What is that? I had so many things rushing through my head. And being that I'm a little stubborn, and I'm like, I can get out of bed. I have to go to the bathroom. I struggled. I don't know what I was thinking. I just got myself up, sat up, and I went to get up, and I fell flat on the floor because I couldn't walk. And then from there, my friend was home and said, "No, you need to go to the hospital now," because I never looked at myself in the mirror, which was really interesting because my whole bedroom has mirrors like all over the place. And I never looked in the mirror. So I never got to see myself with my face like hanging to one side and just really distorted, because my speech was slurred, and it was really, I don't want anybody to go through something like that. That's why I try to do Rebooted the Podcast, to give you some tips on wellness and just take care of yourself. You're the only one you have. So this is the most important thing you have, is this body. You only got one body and you can't trade it. We're not androids, even though technology is getting weird now. They want to take our brain out and put it on a machine or something. But this is the only body you have, so be careful what you put in it. And please stay away from the processed food. If it's in a bag, it's processed. Don't eat it. Buy fruits, vegetables, organic meats if you eat meats and things like that. Just be careful what you put in. Kentucky Fried Chicken, all those fast food places, it's so bad for you. But you know why it's so delicious? Because they have additives that make you addicted to the food. If you didn't know that, cheese is addicting. Okay, so people are addicted to cheese, and that clogs your arteries. I don't need dairy. I don't need cheese. I changed my life that way. I haven't even eaten. I had chicken the other day because a friend came over and brought some chicken, and I broke down and I had some chicken. But I haven't had any meat for a month now because I was cleaning out my body. I stopped eating beef 5 years ago. I haven't touched it since I had the stroke. I haven't had any beef whatsoever. And but with JC being Puerto Rican, he's like, I need a pork chop, you know? So he made me cook some pork. Yeah, it's like, we're Puerto Rican. Rice and beans and pork chops is like, it's like water for us. So, but just so little tips for you today. And when we come back, we're gonna meet my incredible guest, David Octavio Gandell. He's a life coach, author, TV host. He's an amazing person. I met him like 10 years ago, and not till that I saw him again now that I realized how important he's supposed to be in my life. And God is showing me that everything is timing. And when I was talking to him back in 2015, 2016, I was not emotionally, spiritually, or mentally ready. I really wasn't to deal with my own demons and things in my past that was holding me back in my life. But again, this is the transformation that has occurred in the last 5 years that I really deep down thought of things that I've done in my life. And anything that's happened to you, good or bad, is your decision. You make the decision to have a glass of water or a glass of vodka, or you decide to have a steak or fried chicken. So it's your decision. So you must think about that. Because you can't be blaming people. I used to blame people. Oh, I'm going through this because so-and-so. Or I'm going through this because my mother didn't do something. You know, people say, oh, because it's your father or your mother or your sister. No, it's you, okay? You have to control your environment, the people you're around, and you know, who you hang out with, the music, everything you read, all that influences who you are. So with that, we're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back with David. Hi everybody, so I'm back with David Octavio Gandell. Here he is. David, I'm so happy for you to be here.
I am excited because I just saw you a few days ago.
Yep.
And it was the first time in years. Mm-hmm. And again, you know, just really getting a little bit of a glimpse of what you went through. You know, I was dumbfounded, of course, knowing that, you know, you had gone through all these things, because the last time I saw you, you know, we were in an okay place. I mean, in terms of business, like I was already, you know, sharing my story on television and doing articles, and you had the magazine and things like that. We did events together, but I didn't know that you had gone through your stroke. And then when I found that out, I didn't know the dynamics of it. I didn't know any of that. So for me, just the text that I went through when I went through all my texts, and I found one from May of 2015, and it was really a prayer. About basically what I said. It was that she was going to be an instrument in my life, basically, and I just didn't know how. And then years later, here it comes that we are back together. She came to my women's seminar on Saturday.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And you were at the front row, and you know, it was great.
Yeah, no, I went to David's seminar on Saturday. It was just incredible, and I realized there that it's just timing. It's always just timing. So when he reached out to me, 7 years ago, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to hear, to listen to anybody. And when I had the stroke, I didn't even tell him. He didn't even know. He just found out. He just found out about that. And it was a struggle. And I kind of was just by myself, And then JC, we knew each other from before, but we weren't together. We weren't
Correct.
dating.
No,
because JC was going through, his woman had breast cancer and she died. And he was with her through the whole battle.
Wow.
She had, I forgot, stage 3, stage 4 breast cancer. And she didn't really take care of herself. She wasn't eating right and, all these different things. And unfortunately, she passed away. So he was with her and cared for her. So then when he met me, when we finally were like connecting, it was 2 weeks after I had the stroke that I went to my neighbor's house, and that's where we met originally. And I walked in, like, hey, stranger, how you doing? I always liked him. Like, there was something there, but I wasn't ready, and he wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. So that day when he came, he started talking to me, and he was, like, really interested to talk to me. Like, he wasn't late and letting me go. I was like, why is he, like, following me everywhere? What's going on, And then I said, look, I'm a little damaged. I got rebooted. My brain got rebooted. So, and I'm a little gimpy here. I can't walk okay. And he's like, it's okay. I'll take care of you. And we've been together 5.5 years now.
Well, it's funny you say damaged, and it's pretty cool because people say broken, damaged, right? In my side of the world, is I'm coaching women most of the time, and I hear those words, damaged and broken. I think everybody has to acknowledge at some point they're broken or damaged in their life. The problem is they're not examining themselves. Remember what we talked about in the seminar? Mm-hmm. If you don't ever examine yourself, then you don't know really where you're going. I use the analogy of if you live in Florida and you're supposed to go to South Beach, you're supposed to take 95 south. But if you're going north of 95, then you're never going to get there until you finally take a break and do a U-turn. And I think all of us need to take a break and do a U-turn and examine where it is that you want to go. When people say, how are you doing? What do we say? Oh, fine. I'm fine. So I'm that guy that will ask you 3-4 times. Because if I come in contact with you, it's not by coincidence. If I come in contact with you, there's a purpose. So I'm going to say, how are you doing? And you go, I'm fine, really? I said, no, seriously. No, I mean it. Come on. I really want, the reason why is because we don't really think that people want to listen to us. If I'm asking, it's because I want to listen. If I ever pray for you, I want to say, I want to listen to your story. And you saw all the women at the event.
Oh yeah.
I have a few. Half of them were clients. Half of them were just there for the first time. And it's really interesting because when you open in that safe space, you see how these women reacted,
right.
And they were able to share stories that they would never share anywhere else, but they were sharing in that safe space. And it's such a privilege. It really is. I love what I do, and I'm excited to see what God is getting ready to do with me because it's just the beginning. So
I know. What are we going to do with us? Who knows?
Absolutely.
I already got goosebumps.
We're back. Yes, Alita's back in my life. There's got to be a reason.
I'm back and I'm better.
Yes.
This is the Alita 2.0, okay?
Yes, absolutely. This is David 3.0. I survived cancer twice. But
2-time cancer survivor. He's a miracle walking. So anything is possible. You have to have faith, you have to have strength, and say, make that decision. I had my other guest last week, Dr. Gonzalez. She also battled cancer. And she said the same thing. She said, I had to make a decision. It was either life or death. Mm-hmm. And she made the decision with faith in God. And she said, I choose life. I have 3 children I have to take care of. And that was the first thing that I thought of when I had the stroke, my children.
That's your why. Yeah.
That was my boys. Oh my God, to think that I wouldn't see my boys again. I can't even think of that. They're still young in their early 20s, and I'm like, no way. And that was like, I don't know what's going on with this stroke thing, but it's going away fast. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I went to acupuncture. I went to Chinese medicine. I've been going for 5.5 years since I had the stroke. And it's improved my life so much.
Yeah, so you're working out. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That you can't work out like that with a stroke. So, certainly, God has certainly tried to, recovered you and healed you and go forward. But, you said something really interesting that I want to tap into is, we say, do you want to live or die? And why is it that I find a lot of people are just waiting to die? You know, you might get that one on your way home. If you're driving, please do not look at the screen. If you're watching at work, make sure you get your headphones on. But I just want to let you know that, like, think about it. Are you really happy with what you're doing in life, or are you really waiting for something else to change? Can I tell you something? When you're waiting for something to change, it's because you're not happy. You're not. Stop being content with what it is, right? The status quo. So make a change. If you want the world to change, the world is changing. If you haven't paid attention to it already, the world is changing. We're creating meta worlds. We're creating these verses, these metaverses, and these other things, so we don't have to leave our houses. I think there's something wrong with that, to be honest with you, because I'm a social person. I like hugging. I like shaking hands. I like doing all that stuff. So for me, I'm good about that. So I think it's a way that we can reach worlds around us, right? We can go to different countries and things like that. I think there's a great thing about that. But don't forget, there is such a thing as a connection. You know, when it talks about loneliness, loneliness leads to depression, right? So don't get to that far. But if you're really second guessing what you're doing in life, do me a favor, just take that time, take that U-turn and figure out what can you change. Alita was talking about working out. For me, working out was really it. It was like the way God, I mean, I've been a trainer my whole life. I ran gyms, so even in this area in Boca Raton, Florida, I had a gym just down the street, Spanish River. But what's funny is that at the time is everything God had shown me to teach others, I had to do myself now. But then now it was my choice. Now it's like, okay, I have to make a decision. At 128 pounds, I need to go to the gym. I'm 6 feet tall, by the way. It's pretty skinny. I mean, you think Mark Anthony's skinny? Yeah, I beat him. So again, you got to make a choice. You're making a choice to eat better, to take care of yourself, to go to the gym, work out, in spite of anything else that had happened. You know, I look past cancer and say, okay, cancer was what revealed my purpose. Now I know that I have a lane that God's given me to inspire children to live their dreams and inspire women to look at themselves and really define who they are. Because I've always believed women were powerful. But I had examples. As a young man, I had an example of my mother, my grandmother, you know, my aunts. I had examples of what strong women were, and I had example of a strong men that were able to support those strong women. So that changed a little bit in my course.
That's incredible. And I talking about women, I mean, my mother's still around. She's still amazing. She's really physically so strong. And sometimes my mother's 84, and sometimes I'm like, Mom, don't get the garbage. I'll do it. No, I always do it. Okay, I just want to make sure you're okay. So I'm a little protective now, and she gets upset with me because she's like, no, I can do it. And I'm like, okay, Mommy, you know. But my grandma was really strong. She worked all her life. She worked at the Ole Cassini tie factory in the Empire State Building in New York. She sewed ties for like 30 years. My grandmother sewed the silk ties.
Wow, in New York.
In New York.
That's a different city.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother animal. But you said something on the seminar talking about your environments, and it made me think about, like, it really is important to really analyze like where you're at, you know, just physically, because where you live, who you're hanging out with, and I'll say I went through some dark parts of my life that I was hanging out with the wrong people. I really didn't realize it, that hanging out with somebody, like, say, is a drug addict or something, or an alcoholic, it's going to affect you, because
or just lazy.
Just
somebody lazy,
anything like that.
Correct.
It's just going to affect you, because you start turning into the friends you're hanging out with.
Correct.
So, you know, now, like I said, it's all about your mind. It's about your mindset. It's really just focusing on what's important and where you're going. And I realized with the magazine that I was doing that it wasn't fulfilling anymore for me, because I got tired of talking about other people.
Yes.
Like their stardom and stuff like that. But you're not doing anything for the world. And I feel empty. Like, I need to be able to give back. So I'm hoping with this, I made a commitment to I want to positively impact 1 million people.
Come on.
So that they can have a better life. You know, just a little message today might help somebody get out of the closet, basically, you know, in their mind. I mean, you know, out of depression. And I said that before, that if you're depressed, please reach out to me. We'll guide you somewhere. We'll get you help. You know, don't stay hiding at home and everything like that, because with COVID, so many people got quarantined. We had to stay home and they're alone. and a lot of issues happen. People don't talk about that. Like, what happened behind the closed doors? What happened to all those people? People were living in abusive households. What happened to those people? They were still being abused. And now they're stuck because they can't get out. And you mentioned that you had to talk to somebody.
No, I had clients that were in their car doing a life coaching session with me because they couldn't talk freely at home. So that for me it really just, breaks my heart that they didn't have that freedom.
Right.
They couldn't leave the house at the time, but they were able to leave the house for an hour and a half to go to the park and in their car. And I have the videos. I recorded those sessions and I watched them in their car, in tears or just finally being free to speak their mind of what's going on inside their household. Thank God most of those people are now in a better position, in a better environment. But that's the thing, when everybody's busy, we're not spending enough time together. And then you're not really getting to know each other. And what happens with the years is that you actually change. We all change. Every 5 years, whatever, you all change. So defining your environment was the beginning topic of the seminar, absolutely. And if you got to define where you are and who's around you, absolutely. And
Right.
how is that affecting you? Is it affecting you in a positive way or a negative way?
That's why I finally realized that we have the control everything we do in our life. And I sat down thinking about that after I saw you on Saturday, because I go, hold on. I started going back in time. Like when I was 21 years old, I started dating somebody, which I thought I was in love. You're 21, your first love. Yes. And you just, everything, oh my God, you can't breathe without them. You're just like, talk 3 hours a day. Oh my God, I can't hang up the phone, that kind of thing, right? And unfortunately, that person that was in my life was doing cocaine, was drinking alcohol, and we would go out and have drinks and stuff like that, and introduced me to cocaine. Okay, didn't understand. You think it's recreation, you're having a good time. Didn't realize how that was going to affect me, to the point that we had to break up because he beat the crap out of me. Basically, I was 21 years old. I weighed 103 pounds at the time. I was a little thing. He's like 6'2", and just whatever, the liquor, everything else, and I had to go to the hospital because I had a black eye. I was really messed up, and it messed me up. It messed me up for a long time. I felt so insecure, like I didn't trust. I really didn't trust anymore. I didn't trust men. I didn't trust relationships, and it took me. I'm telling you, I think it's taken me all my life to get over that. Until many years ago, I decided I have to forgive him.
Yes.
So I had to, deep down inside, just say, God, you gotta help me forgive. I have to forgive because I can't hold on to it anymore, because it's doing me damage.
Correct.
So I had to get rid of that. And eventually, during the course of my life, I've forgiven many people that have done me wrong, or I felt like they did me wrong. Like I blamed a certain person. So I said, I'm going to stop blaming that person.
Yes.
And reverse it and take responsibility, because nobody forced me to drink or do drugs. So
that's exactly where I was. No, it's the truth. I mean, not to, all the women that are listening, or men, this goes both ways. I mean, you could be in an abusive relationship and domestic or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it's your decision to stay. Yes, it could be a very difficult decision, but it's still your decision. But here's what I always say, and again, because I've gone through multiple death sentences, I think I look at life a lot differently. It's like, this could lead me to die early. So let me make the decision and see if there's actually an opening. Let me take that chance. And what I do is say this, and I said this at the seminar, I say this all the time, I have these 4 things that I do. I pray, I listen, I'm obedient, I'm consistent. I pray, I listen, I'm obedient, I'm consistent. Everything I do, I pray. I put today something, I said, don't be ashamed of praying. I don't know why people, and I don't care what religion you are, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, but I also say, I have a relationship with God that God literally forced on me because I believed in God, but I didn't have a relationship with him until I get cancer at the age of 29, and I get told I have terminal cancer. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, me and God were going at it. And I make a joke about it because I was cursing God. Have you ever been mad at God? You ever
Yes.
mad at, I'm like, why? As I go, and this wasn't my fault per se, the cancer, and I was eating healthy. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I barely drink. None of that stuff. I was a healthy man, but I had a rare tumor that grew at a time. And this is again what I say. God had a plan for my life, including that. That was my plan. So the stroke, if you don't have that stroke, you're not here today doing what you're doing. You're not doing this. You might still be selling advertisements and doing magazines.
Right.
But this is what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how I
You're
feel.
bringing now people to the forefront to say, hey, let's inspire, let's give people hope, by the way.
Yes.
So again, going back to that is me and God cursed at God. I was mad at God. You know what God said? And I say that it wasn't like he said, hey, David. No, it wasn't that. But it was like something you know in your spirit. It was like, you can curse at me. You can yell at me. You can tell me to go to anywhere. I've been to hell already. You don't have to tell me. I already survived hell. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Bible. You're talking to me. That was a breakdown for me.
Because you didn't talk to him before.
I wasn't talking this way to him.
Ah.
So I said, now you're talking to me, so you can do anything you want, but you're talking to me. That means we're having a relationship. You ever been mad at your relationship, at your partner or your business partner? You know why you're mad? Because you care. You don't yell unless you care. You don't argue unless you care. Now, there's a difference when you talk about substance abuse and you talk about other things, or mental illness. That's different. Now you have arguments you need to walk away from because that person is not there's no sanity at that moment, right? So it's really interesting how that relationship turned into 2 years. That then I get terminal cancer. I get down to 124 pounds after the first round of chemo, and I went through 7 rounds of chemo, and I worked out through chemotherapy.
Wow.
And I gave seminars through chemotherapy. I waited till the day before I went to the hospital on that Tuesday in Pompano City Center. I can tell you it was there. I had posters made. I was 130 pounds or so giving seminars. And you know what I called them? Living with Cancer. And people used to show up and donate money, and they printed shirts for me, and they gave me hope that, hey, people were supporting me. But there's still testimonies from back then, from 2006. People were still sharing. And then after I survived, everybody came to the gym to share what happened to their lives. Not my life, their life. They were saying, you know what, because of you I did this, because of you I did this. And it was at my worst time. So think about this, at your worst time, you can still serve. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I got to write that one down for myself. That's a good one. So yeah, the seminar was perfect for you then.
Oh, it
because
was.
It was right on. Yeah, this is the second in the seminar series. I wrote them during, after listening to the first 100 clients, I wrote a case study, and I wrote these 4 seminars from defining you and those around you to release the greatness inside of you. And training to fulfilling your purpose is about an environment, your suffering, your sacrifice, and serving. And even at your worst, you can still serve.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I hope right now we're touching people's lives right now. And I ask God for blessing on all those people out there that might be suffering right now, especially, domestic violence, whatever it is out there. Just realize there is hope and there's help out there. And, reach out to somebody, try to get out of the house and just go, hey, I need help. That's all you have to do. Once you make the decision, then everything else will happen.
Absolutely.
And having hope. And if you don't have faith, try to find faith. Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle I grew up in a Catholic household, so God was like forced down my throat, and the Bible, they would literally hit you with the rulers in school, and the nuns and everything. And I was always the one that would go, I have a question. Alita, put your hand up. They always told me, I'm like, but why? I have a question. I don't understand what you just said. So I struggled a little while, and I've cursed God out. I've had conversations with him going, what are you doing? And he has saved my life so many times. He has saved my life. When I went through a really hard time back in the 80s, because of the cocaine, also I lived in Hollywood, California. So you can imagine it was pretty crazy over there. And I was going through a really hard time. And I remember one day I said, I can't take it anymore. And I went down to Hollywood Boulevard. There's a Catholic church right on Hollywood Boulevard. I opened the doors, there's nobody in. I literally crawled on my knees and just cried and said, I'm done. Correct. I need you because I can't do it anymore. I'm screwing everything up in my life right now. So I need some hope, and I need some some Holy Ghost, some God, whatever you need to do there, but I need somebody to lift me up. And then I realized that there's a passage somewhere that talks about that when you feel you're alone is because God's been carrying you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's not because he's not there. He's just been carrying you through the whole time.
Yeah. But you said something. You said, I'm done. So finally you take acknowledgement. I'm done finally. And that's what I had to do. I said, okay, God, I'm done. I can't battle cancer. I've tried. It's not going to happen. I'm dying. So it's all up on you. If you want me to live, I made the promise. If you heal me, I'll tell your story. That was 15 years ago. I'm going to be 15 years cancer free on
Amen.
July 11th. So it was going to be 16 years ago since I made that promise. So
That's great.
But you said really cool. You said hope and faith. So, I always say find hope, have faith, and live with purpose. That's the message
Exactly.
I always end my seminars with or my speeches. And it's because I believe all of us have faith. We all believe there is a greater power, even if you deny it. There is something greater than you, right? We believe that we have faith in something, right? Or something bigger. But it's that hope, I believe, because Alita, how many people do you know that have cancer that could survive? And they just give up hope.
Yeah, they give up.
So I hope that my message give people hope. So this is I'm just one person for you to find hope. Alita's another person for you to find hope. If you ever gone through a stroke, look at this woman. She's working out with ropes. She's doing great. This is an example of hope that you can, even whatever you're going through, you can get there.
Yes, you
can.
can.
You can get back to this,
Yes,
right?
you can.
And she's only getting better. So again, find hope, have faith, live with purpose.
I'm getting younger. I'm
Come on.
57.
Come
Look at
on.
this. I look younger now. I'm noticing that working out, my skin is clear. No Botox, guys. Okay, this is all natural.
Not yet. Sponsors? No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, I know we're getting to our final minutes here. All the information will be on the YouTube and all my podcasts about David, where you can reach David. He's available for coaching. He's amazing. If you don't know what your purpose is and you need help, here he is. And I know he's going to even help me more too, because I did find my purpose now, but there might be more stuff out there. So I think God's working on something right now. So,
Amen. Amen.
So thank you, David, for being here. It was a blessing, and I hope we bless everybody out there. And see you next week.
Bye.
Let's be honest. When you want this VIP lifestyle 24/7, or at least almost 24/7, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Now there is Club Secret, the ultimate lifestyle membership. Our VIP global brand is centered around helping people look better, feel better, and experiencing the world. We have proven world-class self-care products to enhance your outer self so you look like a VIP. We have the ultimate premium supplements and plant-based nutrition to give you the cleanest energy to help you go throughout your day so you feel like a VIP. Being a part of Club Secret enables you to experience the world like you never have before through our wholesale booking platform, luxury vacation homes, villas, cruises, and our flagship group curated escapes to the most exciting parts of the world. And we don't stop there. You are a VIP, and we want to make sure you always feel that way. We give you access to memorable experiences with VIP events centered around F1 racing, Wimbledon, Kentucky Derby, the Open, NFL, NBA, NHL, and more. Like VIP packages to the most popular concerts and festivals that we all know and love. Club Secret gives you savings on other lifestyle benefits such as telemedicine to save you time and money, popular retail brand partners, and more. So for less than Starbucks cup of coffee a day, we want you to have the VIP life every day, not just every once in a while. What's in the membership again? You get 30% off all premium product lines, save time and money at telemedicine, having a doctor access 24/7, wholesale hotel booking engine, curated escapes, VIP experiences, brand partner discounts, loyalty points on most things purchased in the community, and more. So if you want to claim your VIP status now in our ultimate lifestyle community, text or direct message the person back immediately that had you watch this video to learn more.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Rebooted the Podcast to learn about each episode's guests and topics. This is your host, Alita Hernandez. See you next Tuesday.